We're doing a requested review tonight on this guy. So let's go. Alright, those of y'all who remember the original Omega Supreme, he was a set of toys. He wasn't just a single toy. He had some train tracks and a rocket that became his arm, and his torso, I believe it was a tank that would roll around on the track. Well, we don't have that many parts with the new one. What we have is this large battleship looking deal and some sort of construction crane train thing that I don't get this, but you know, this right here is cool enough to make up for the unusualness of this. Now this does have a really cool looking front end on it. I do like that. Let's see, the crane portion of it, whenever you do like this, it will kind of shoot out a little bit. It's not doing its full length for me right now, so I need to push in on it as I'm doing it. Let's get this out of the way and focus on the cooler half, the battleship. The battleship, you have two launching projectiles in this right here, and you might have noticed when I turn this one, the forward two guns also rotate along with it. They have a knob on the side right here that if you roll it, they also turn. There is a light and sound feature with this guy. I'm not going to turn off the light because it doesn't show up that well. You might be able to see it. Now, on the front of it, it's got a bulbous bow like on a large ship, and on the back end of it, rather than being square like a ship, it's got a large open cavity, which I've always thought that this was more of a spaceship, like for those of y'all that watched Robotech, the big ship that all of them were on that transformed. This to me was like a mini version of that. I really like it. I mean, this right here. And then for further oddness, let me hang this halfway off over here. The front end of the train will connect into the back. It's not supposed to kink, it's just I don't have near enough table. And if I'm not mistaken, this right here, being as long as it is actually a longer toy than Fortress Maximus was. Now he's nowhere near the size of him, but just tip to tip, he's close, if not long. So let's separate him and start transforming him. Now, I don't know how I made it do that noise. Huh. Okay, you have to figure this out real quick. Well, come on now. See? This front gun right here, you push. Oh, I can't believe it's not going to do it. Oh, I get it. I get it. Whenever you rotate full direction to either direction, you get the sound of the cannons firing. I can't believe it took me that long to figure that out, but that's a neat little touch. I'd never noticed that sound until just now when I sat down to make this review. Well, learn something new every day. Alright, let's move along. You're going to take the control tower here, pick it up off the front, and it rotates to the back. Then the whole control tower rotates on the section that just rotated, and it makes what will become a foot. Rotate that down, and the only reason I'm showing you this is because it was in the instructions. I don't buy into it much, but you transform it into this thing, and if you have a suitably large toy, let's just say 20th Prime here. If you've got a suitably large toy, he becomes like an artillery piece. So he's here and he's shooting and he's got all his guns. and great, you know. I don't get it. I mean, it's definitely better than what the Crane makes. I don't even remember how to make this one's weapon mode because it's not very impressive. So I don't really remember it all that well. I kind of have it blocked from memory. So let's just forget that and start making it into the half of the robot. And that's pretty much it. All you have to do with this one is stand him up. And I'm just going to turn the leg out right now so he'll support himself. Now, here, we've got this one kind of twisted up pretty good. So you straighten the knee right here, take the hip and turn it back in. Take the top section right here and rotate that down. The whole another section twists out of it. So you've got that done. You take the two halves, and before you slide the two halves together, this right here folds down. Take the two halves of the body, and they clip together like that. And you now have a headless Omega Sentinel. I cannot, for the life of me, remember this guy's name. Not at all. Okay, I'm looking at the Omega Supreme version, and all it's called is Omega Supreme Head, so I'm just going to call this guy Omega Sentinel Head. Great homage to the Headmasters. I love it. All you got to do is take him, rotate his legs up and into his chest like that. His head slots into this little stump in his neck right here. So you got that. And then his face shield pops up. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just flipping you all. That was not intentional. And he's got a fairly good little face. It's very dark. Y'all probably can't see it. It is a surprisingly good face. A very human looking face. No light piping in the eyes. Very dark. I mean, y'all see whenever I take a picture, but I really like his face. It's I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. It's like somebody that is very concerned, like he is a protector. He's not a warrior. He's not out there to cause the biggest body count he can. To me, this guy, just the impression I get of him is he is to be an unstoppable force, just in the defense of whatever it is he is supposed to be protecting. So he's not going to go looking for trouble, but he's going to finish it. Now, this is probably, out of all the Supreme class figures I've got, this is probably my favorite. He's not as floated with gimmicks as, say, Primus is, and he's not as posable as Unicron, but there's just something about this figure that clicks, and this is my absolute favorite Supreme class figure that I have. I don't even know how long I went, because I probably was just rambling a lot. It's probably longer than I think it is, because I feel like that was only like a 6-minute review, and it's really fun being able to review something that you really like, and that is, like I said, just a great figure. Very overlooked figure, because a lot of people look at it and there's not excuse me, not that much posability in him. I mean, he has pretty much the same amount of joints in him as a Voyager would, and there's not that much that goes into transforming him, as you saw. I mean, he's very fast to transform, but he is just massive. I mean, the detailing in him is great, and I just realized I need to take some pictures of him before I put this video up. So anyway, 5 out of 5.